Good morning and welcome to Vigyan Utsav organized by Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council under Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. My name is Josephine Zotwangpui and I will be your host for today's program. As we may be aware, Government of India has initiated Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of progressive India. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a 75-week grand celebration launched by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to mark 75 years of independence. To celebrate the Mahotsav, it has been decided by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, New Delhi to instigate the One Month, One Theme initiative, which began from September 2021 and will end in August 2022. The State and Science Technology Councils, in collaboration with the Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, has been organizing this event since September 2021. Today, on the 2nd June 2022, we are yet again continuing this webinar with theme Basic Science for Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat. We have invited speakers from the premier academic institutions of the state as well as from Science and Technology Council itself, who will be speaking on our theme. To start off, let me first invite ER Engineer H. Lelsomliana, Chief Scientific Officer and Member Secretary Mystic, to deliver a welcome address.
Hello, good morning and warm welcome to one and all. It is indeed an honor to give the welcome speech and opening remarks in this webinar organized by Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council under the initiative of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. I welcome all the delegates from the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, are invited speakers from this webinar. For this webinar, participants from the State Science and Technology Councils and all the participants from Mizoram. I take this opportunity to thank the State Science and Technology Council for joining this webinar. This shows the bonds and togetherness we have in conducting Vigyan Utsav throughout India. At the same time, I wish you all the very best for conducting the webinar on this month's theme, which is Basic Science for the Self-Reliant India. During this 12-month series of program, Department of Science and Technology has been choosing different themes for each month that are all very relevant to the society and STI policy. This month's theme, Basic Science for Self-Reliant India, is a very significant for society and individual well-being. Since the beginning, human beings have substantially benefited from the knowledge of basic science, whether in the field of physics or medicine. Basic science brought about the fundamental understanding of natural phenomena, living system, and even basic life processes. The aim of the Atma Nirbhar Bharat is to make the country and its citizens independent and self-reliant in all senses. This campaign was launched in the eye of COVID-19 storm, and it is focused on making India economically, technologically, and infrastructurally self-reliant. This knowledge leads to development and advancement. This mission brought about tremendous transformations in the nation's scientific landscape. The scientists from our public sector research institution took up the call and initiated many projects in missions mode to nurture an ecosystem that promote research and innovations. From agriculture to artificial intelligence, Indian science has seen a resurgence during the past 1 year. The scientists have come out with great innovations that compete with any in the Western world. The quantum of research output produced during the COVID-19 pandemic is commendable. India became the first country to come out with a DNA-based coronavirus vaccine. The country has indeed made commendable achievements in every field of science and technology. Today, we have invited speakers from academia as well as the Science and Technology Councils of Mizoram itself, who will be sharing with us the current status of Mizoram in basic science, the gaps and challenges that are needed to become a self-reliant state and a self-reliant India. I would like to thank Department of Science and Technology, Government of India again, and all other stakeholders and participants in this webinar. I hope that this will be a platform for strengthening many more women in science who are the futures and enablers for science and technology and women empowerment. Once again, I wish all the participants the very best for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. To begin, I would like to welcome our very own scientific officer, Dr. Lalsandami Totong here at MISTIC. Dr. Lalsandami Totong is also the head of Biotechnology Center under MISTIC. She has finished her PhD from National University of Singapore, and her research areas include biomedical science, medicinal plants, etc. So without further ado, let us invite Dr. Lalsandami to address on the role of basic science for self-reliant Mizoram. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you, Jasmine, for the warm welcome. So today, I'm very honored to be here and to speak in this series, Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat, Self-Reliant India, and the role of basic science in to become a self-reliant India. So today, my topic, as we have heard, is on the role of basic science towards a stepping stone towards a self-reliant Mizoram. Let me first share my screen. Yeah, is my screen visible? Yes. All right. So, right. So the role of basic science towards a self-reliant Mizoram. And I won't be talking so much in detail of the science itself, but how the understanding, the fundamental of basic science can help us to achieve self-reliance, not only in our state, but how our state will become self-reliant and therefore contribute towards Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat. So as we have heard, the Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat, which translates to self-reliant India, is the vision of new India, which is envisaged by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. So on the 12th of May 2020, when during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Prime Minister raised a call to the nation, giving a kickstart of the Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat, self-reliant India. And this self-reliant India campaign announced the special economic and comprehensive package of up to rupees 20 crore lakh, equivalent to 10% of India's GDP, to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. And the main aim of this self-reliant India, the Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat, is to make the country and its citizens independent and self-reliant in all senses. And this scheme or this mission has taken many bold reforms across different sectors, which will be and is driving the country's push towards self-reliance. And this has been very instrumental in spurring the growth and building self-reliant India. And this Atma, Nirbhar, Bharat rests on 5 pillars. And the 5 pillars: economy, infrastructure, systems, democracy, and demand. And this economy on which the Atma Nirbhar Bharat stands, it does not contemplate on incremental change, but rather a quantum leap that can be converted, that can convert the current adversity and building it into advantage. And the infrastructure, which is of modern image and not of the of modern India, which can be the identity of India. And in the systems, which is driven by 21st century technology and not based on the old rules. The democracy on which this pillar rests is a vibrant democracy that is a source of energy to make India self-reliant. And lastly, but not the least, the demand, where the strength of our demand and supply chain is utilized intelligently. So as we have heard earlier from our introduction, the Atma Nirbhar Bharat has been triggered mainly because of the challenge that we faced during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this has triggered the importance of self-reliance, the Make in India policy. And this is also what we in Mizoram should be envisioning and try to, be self-reliant. So in response to the COVID-19 challenge, in order for India to become self-reliant, there has been several responses, but today I'll be sharing only the most significant ones. So India became the first country to develop the COVID-19 DNA vaccine. And this DNA vaccine, the name is Zycov-D, which is the world's first and India's indigenously developed DNA-based vaccine for COVID-19 to be administered in humans, including children and adults 12 years and above. And the vaccine has been developed by Zydus in partnership with the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, under the mission Suraksha and implemented by Bharat, which is a PSU unit of DBT. We are also familiar with Covaxin, which is also India's first indigenous COVID-19 vaccine. And this has been developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research and the National Institute of Virology. And so India is taking a leading role in developing these vaccines and moving towards self-reliant India for the vaccine itself. And we also know that during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, India has been supplying PPEs and many other medications required for treatments of COVID-19 patients to other countries as well. In terms of Mizoram, how we respond to the COVID-19 challenge, I'm not going to talk about the entire Mizoram, but how the Science and Technology Council of Mizoram has taken initiative and stepped up to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic within Mizoram. So we have because as we might be aware, Mizoram was in shortage of the RT-PCR machine, which was the main detection equipment required for COVID-19. So we have requested the RT-PCR from IBSD, and this has been airlifted from Imphal, IBSD Center, and this has been installed in Mizoram Medical College for utilization for testing of the COVID-19. Mystic has also taken initiatives to create public awareness on the basic science of COVID-19, and for this we have prepared a booklet for public awareness, and also we have done a TV live discussion program where many of the questions within the Mizo society on the basic understanding of the COVID-19 and the coronavirus itself was answered. Mystic also developed an online application app, an app for the Corona Alcohol hand sanitizer mixer. So using this app, any layman can prepare the hand sanitizer at his own house. And we have also developed a food controlled water tap, which has been installed in many government offices, so that you don't have you don't have to use the hand sanitizer. You can use the food controlled water tap easily before entering into your offices. Mystic has also developed a hand sanitizer according to the WHO protocol, and this has been distributed as well as sold in the market at a subsidized rate. Because in the government setting, we have many files moving in. We also developed a UV-based disinfection box, which can be used for disinfecting gadgets as well as papers, documents, etc. So these are the initiatives which the Council of Science, the Science and Technology Council of Mizoram have come up with in response to the COVID-19. And I am sharing this because I feel that it's very apt with today's this month's theme on self-reliance, using the foundation of science and technology, the basic science. So what brings about these developments? How are these developments brought about? Through our understanding of basic science. So that only through the basic science, the fundamental understanding of basic science can bring about these developments. So what is basic science? So the basic sciences are mainly defined as the scientific principles of mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. And they are called the basic science because they provide fundamental understanding of natural phenomena and the processes by which the natural resources are transformed. And these basic, the basic science is the fundamental for basic science research, and also often known as the fundamental or bench research, which provides the foundation of knowledge for the applied science that follows. And this type of research encompasses the very familiar disciplines that we are more aware of, such as the biochemistry, microbiology, physiology, pharmacology, and their interplay. And these involves huge laboratory studies with cell cultures, animals, or their physiological experiments. So only with a strong foundation of basic science can we apply the science for our daily use, the science and technology for development of products. So where does Mizoram lie in this, and what is the potential of Mizoram? So Mizoram has its own beauty in that it has its own bioresources and natural resources, and can serve as a very good platform for basic science, knowledge understanding, knowledge generation, and research itself. And why is that so? Because Mizoram is has a very unique location in which the Mizoram is, the state of Mizoram lies in the Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot. And so Mizoram, by its nature, is very, very rich in its floral and fauna specimens. So the diversity, the biodiversity itself presents a huge bioresource which can be utilized for further development, for bringing Mizoram to become a self-reliant state. So what is the product of basic research, right? So the product of basic science research, mainly in academic settings, would be knowledge generation. And how are these knowledge generated? So the knowledge generated can be seen in the form of papers. So many new species have been discovered even in the recent past and in the earlier past, which have been published in many scientific research, scientific journals. So new species of animal origin, new species of plant origin, and also the utilization and the economic importance of many of the biodiversity, the bioresources that we have in Mizoram have been published in many scientific journals. But what is the next step of having? What is the next step after generating all these scientific knowledge? What should we do with this knowledge that we have generated so that we move one step closer to being a self-reliant state? So what we can do is to put our scientific knowledge into use and to make useful products for the society and for the community. Some of the examples that we can see were utilization of basic science to develop several products, such as the chemical industry. We have the synthesized dyes from coal tar, which is a derivative of fossil plants, and these can be used to replace the commonly used chemically synthesized dyes. And now these have been derived from the wild and cultivated plants, and these are more organic and natural, of natural origin. And now the search has been reversed, and plant-derived products are now sought to replace harmful coal tar dyes. And the market price for these natural based dyes are even very more expensive. And in the modern industry and society, continue to depend in many ways on chemical products which are derived from plants, such as soaps, detergents, rubber, paints, etc., etc. So in India, states like Uttaranchal have made an effort to preserve their local plant species and use it as detergents and soaps. And they have their own local processing technology and indigenous technology. So with scientific intervention, these all products can be value can be added to these products, and a bigger market can be achieved. And we know that the basic science application has even a wider scope in modern agriculture. For example, the studies of nutrient requirements of plants led to soil fertility management. And the Green Revolution itself was founded on the fundamental knowledge from research in genetics and plant nutrition. And we all know that genetically manipulated crops or the GMOs have proven to be their productivity, quality of shelf life, and even disease resistance to plants. So the basic knowledge of genetic inheritance, defense response, pathogen genetics, and population genetics have contributed to improve the yields. And these all the fundamental understanding of the basic science have all played a huge role in achieving this technology required to secure a stable food supply. And we all know that, as we have known, seen in many of the research papers, a number of phytochemical constituents or chemical derived from the plant, part of the plants, have been used in the food industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, in the nutraceutical industries, and such as for flavoring agents, for balms, ointments, etc., etc., and also for aromatherapies in the beauty parlors and such. And we all know, and we know that many of the herbs from the local herbs can be used as herbal tea, herbal infusion, and all these can be processed to make more useful products to reach a wider market, and these all can be used as a stepping tool to self-reliant Mizoram and self-reliant India. So the way forward, how can we progress to making Mizoram self-reliant? So we know that Mizoram, we still lack scientific equipment in many of our school settings. The schools have to be well equipped with laboratory equipments so that the school students, what they learn in theory, they can do the experiments by themselves and experience it, then only the knowledge of the basic science will be, the foundation will be set properly. Also in colleges, similar to the schools, the infrastructure in terms of equipment have to be improved. In research institutes, if we can install state-of-the-art facilities, then the progress in basic science research in Mizoram, I'm sure will be much better than our current status. And also in government sectors, the provision to provide service to innovators and entrepreneurs, if this can be achieved, then we will be moving again closer to self-reliant Mizoram. The other thing, and very importantly, is capacity building in science education and research. We have courses in colleges, schools, and universities, but the most important thing is to create a skilled manpower to handle the techniques, to handle the sophisticated and powerful instrumentation that are available within our vicinity, within Mizoram itself, so that we can have our own service provided in the state and without outsourcing it to other places. So with these, I'm sure Mizoram will move closer to becoming a self-reliant state. So the final take home that I want to share today is taking research using basic science from lab to market, and this will help us in achieving a self-reliant state, which ultimately will contribute to Atma Nirbhar Bharat, which is self-reliant India. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lalthandami, for your insightful presentation on utilization of basic science and how the knowledge can be utilized and beneficial even in Mizoram. Thank you again, ma'am. Moving on to our next speaker, Dr. H.T. Laramsanga. Firstly, I would like to introduce, before I invite him, I would like to introduce Dr. H.T. Laramsanga, who is a professor and the current head of department at Department of Zoology, School of Life Sciences, Mizoram University. Dr. H.T. Laramsanga has finished his PhD at NEHU, and his research interests includes ecology, breeding behavior, and development of amphibians, herpetology, entomology, and limnology of Mizoram, taxonomy, and biosystematics. Dr. H.T. Laramsanga has also received awards like the Best Citizens of India Award 2019. He has also received awards for his contributions towards discovery of 3 new species belonging to 3 different classes of vertebrates from Mizoram. He has also received International Herpetology Symposium and Symposium Grant Award 2021. He has published many papers and journals. With that, I would like to invite Dr. H.T. Laramsanga, Dr. H.T. Laramsanga, to speak to speak on animal science. Over to you, sir. Dr. H.D. Rimsanga. Sir, if you can hear me. Sir, can you hear me? It seems Sir HT is facing technical issues. I would like to apologize. Let's introduce. Let's introduce Sir Lashad.
Can you, the host, Josephine, can you please request the audience to mute themselves? Yeah, so now muted.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Lashad Zwala is an associate professor at Department of Physics, Patsunga University College, and he has 17 years of experience. He has also previously worked at Rajdhani College, Delhi University, and Hindu College, Delhi University. And his subject taught includes electronics, quantum mechanics, electromagnetic theory, mathematical physics, electromagnetism, etc. In terms of administrative works, he's currently the secretary at Examination Committee at Patsunga University and the nodal officer at IPR Cell Patsunga University, and as well as the secretary at Sports Board Patsunga University. So let's invite Dr. Lashad Zwala to address on physical science and its application. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. The host of this program, Josephine Russell, and the chairman of this function, engineer is also Liana, and my colleagues and students from other institutions. So today I've been invited to give a talk on this issue. What is that? Yeah, it's on the theme of this program, as we know and already highlighted by the previous speaker. It is on basic science for Atma Nirbhar. So basically it means self-reliant. So I do not plan to dwell on that, because that issue and all, it's already addressed by Dr. Chandami Tauchong. So as a physics teacher, my focus will be on physical science and its application. But again, when we talk about physical science and its application, it's going to be a very broad subject. So I cannot dwell on all the concepts and all the sub-branches of physical science. So instead, for this particular session, I decided to speak on electromagnetic waves and its applications, which I believe is something which I can discuss without any mathematical equations, because as a physicist, mathematics is our language. So I would rather try to avoid all those mathematical relations and all in discussing these electromagnetic waves and its application. And our previous speaker also highlighted that our state is a hotspot for biodiversity and all. So there are plenty of scopes for life sciences to explore in our state. But for us, physical science, our research work cannot be confined to this location, and also we do not have any advantage as such. So my research work is on certain computational works that deals with monolayer 2,6 compounds and all. So we are here in the lab, we have a computational software. We are trying to understand how monolayer graphene type structures can be used as gas sensors and all. So that can be developed into technologies once it is work out in an experimental lab and all. So those things are a little bit something I believe which I cannot discuss in this forum. So I will not dwell on my research, and probably the next speaker, Professor STI, will discuss his research topic, and I believe we will benefit and we will learn from it also. Now, this is what I plan to do for this session. I will just give a brief introduction of electromagnetic waves, and also classification of electromagnetic spectrum, and also discuss the relevance and application of electromagnetic waves. So to start with, I would like to define what a wave is. So this is the best definition I can come up with after browsing to the definition of a wave. So a wave is a certain kind of disturbance that travels through a medium. So when it travels through a medium, it transfers energy. It transfers energy from one location to another location, so without causing any permanent displacement of the medium itself. So this is what we will, how we will define as a wave. So here in our school level, see, in the pamphlets and all, like school students and all are also invited. So I thought we will have an audience from the school section also. So anyway, so waves can be divided into two types, like transverse and longitudinal wave. Like our audio signal and all, it's mainly longitudinal wave. So it's a kind of pressure wave. And this kind of pressure waves and all are also classified as a mechanical wave because it needs a medium to propagate or to transfer energy from one location to another location. It needs a medium of particles that will vibrate and result in compression and refraction of such medium, and then it can propagate and it can transfer such kind of energy. Like, for example, when we were in schools, like at one end of the bench, one of the students can lie down and put his ear on top of the bench, and at the other end we can just knock on the bench, and then we can see that that particular vibration resulting from just giving a knock at the bench can propagate to the wood material and at the other end of the bench. So in a way, it's a longitudinal wave. And there's another type of wave which is called transverse wave. Here, the main difference here is that in a transverse wave, the nature of oscillation or the nature of the direction of oscillation or vibration is transverse to the direction of propagation. When we talk about this pressure wave and sound wave, we are dealing with compression and refraction of the medium along the direction of propagation. So that's how we classify waves. And also we can have this type of classification also, like the broad classification as a mechanical wave, again, which involves, which requires a medium that can be either a longitudinal wave or a transverse wave. And there is this thing called seismic wave, so which is out of my context. And we also have an electromagnetic wave, which is purely non-mechanical. Purely non-mechanical in the sense it does not require any mechanical medium. It does not require any particle to transfer energy from one location to another location or to propagate. Now, so Electromagnetic waves. What are electromagnetic waves? Electromagnetic waves are a group of energy waves that are mostly invisible. And of course, we have a visible spectrum also and can travel through empty space. So empty space means no material medium, non-mechanical wave. And this kind of energies actually bombard our bodies all day long, and we are not we are only aware of a very small portion of them, like visible light. When visible light strikes our retina, it activates our optic nerves and all, then that gives a signal to our brain. So this is something which we can perceive. And infrared light, which gives us warm sensation and all, right? So ultraviolet light, like if you have a long exposure to direct sunlight, it will burn. So these are the like some of the waves which are which we can perceive. The rest of the waves, hardly we perceive them at all. So I request the audience to mute themselves. Yeah. Now, coming to an electromagnetic waves. So an electromagnetic waves, as we discussed, it's a non-mechanical wave, and also it's a transverse wave. So here, this is a simple representation of an electromagnetic waves here, and we can have a direction of propagation, and these electromagnetic waves actually propagates or transfers energy at a velocity of light in a vacuum, that is 3 × 10⁸ meter per second. And it is transverse in nature in the sense that the direction of oscillation is at 90 degrees to the direction of propagation. And also it involves electromagnetic waves. As the name suggests, it involves oscillating electric and magnetic fields. Oscillating and electric magnetic fields at the same phase. Same phase means electric fields, when they have a crest, like the associated magnetic fields also will have crest. And when there is a draw in the electric fields correspondingly, it will also happen at the same location in space at the same time for a corresponding magnetic field. And the ratio of their amplitudes equals the velocity of the wave, and this is how they propagate. So this is a simple animation which represents how an electromagnetic wave propagates. So all these properties of electromagnetic waves are governed or are a deduction of what are called Maxwell's equations. So in basic physics at the school level and all, I think some of the audience here also would probably remember, even if they are from life science background, would probably remember Gauss's law, absence of magnetic monopoles, Faraday's law, Ampere's law, and all those things that we learn in our elementary class 11 and 12 standard. So this set of equations, with the inclusion of this Maxwell's modification, Maxwell's term, this set of equations are called Maxwell's equations. So this set of equations governs all electrical and magnetic phenomena in the universe. So from this set of equations, when we write a set of equations for a vacuum medium and all, from there we can deduce that how electric and magnetic waves will propagate like a wave, and why all this kind of nature it possesses, why electromagnetic waves possess this kind of nature. Okay, so I will not dwell on that. Now, electricity and magnetism are different facets of electromagnetism. And yeah, this is something we already know in a school level. And one thing which I wanted to point out here is that see, electric and magnetic fields produce forces on charges. So electric fields produce a force on charge, the relation which I do not want to write down here to avoid all these mathematical relations. So under the action of electric field, a force will be exerted, and that force can move the charge. And similarly, the magnetic fields also will exert force on a moving charge. And similar to that, when we have a moving charge or an accelerating charge can be used to produce an electromagnetic waves, which we call it sometimes as a radiation. So this is how electromagnetic waves are classified over this very broad spectrum. So an electromagnetic waves with very short wavelengths. So wavelength means when you measure the distance between the crest and crest of the crest at one location and the crest at the next location, and the distance is called the wavelength. Okay, so when the wavelength is less than 0.01 nanometer, we classify such electromagnetic wave as gamma rays. And when the wavelength is between 0.01 nanometer to 10 nanometer, we classify them as X-rays. And when this is between 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer, between 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer, it's classified as ultraviolet radiation. So I think we are all familiar with the name of all these radiations or electromagnetic waves. And here between 400 to 700 nanometer, within a very narrow range, we have a visible light which can trigger our optic nerves. And here beyond this visible light, between 700 to somewhere over here, we have what is called infrared, and then microwave in between here, and then radio waves. Now, yeah, the energy carried by such electromagnetic waves is defined by this Einstein's equation, that is E equal to h into frequency. So frequency can be related to say frequency, it can be related to speed of light upon wavelength. So this is how they're related. So depending on the frequency or the wavelength of each electromagnetic waves, the electromagnetic waves, the energy carried by such wave will differ from one type of radiation to another type of radiation. Now, yeah, this I will skip. Now let's have a brief discussion on this relevance and application of electromagnetic waves. So different frequencies of electromagnetic radiations, they of course have different the amount of energy carried by each light particle, and these different frequencies, they are suited for different purposes. They are suited for different purposes. So one among them in the classification of electromagnetic waves is our radio waves, and this radio waves, it is the electromagnetic radiation with lowest energy because it has the longest wavelength. It is in the long wavelength side of that electromagnetic spectrum. And these radio waves is mostly used in they are often used. Earlier they were often used in TV broadcasting, AM and FM broadcasting, and here, you know, I think this in ISOL, the FM radio station broadcast its radio signal at 93.5 megahertz. So when we convert this 93.5 megahertz into the corresponding wavelength, the wavelength at which they broadcast such like FM signal is 3.21 meter, 3.21 meter. And this radio waves is also used in heart rate monitors and cell phone communication and all these things. So they are classified into high frequency, very high frequency, ultra high frequency, and all. So these are the classification of various radio waves. Now, why is radio waves more widely used for communication than other electromagnetic waves? It is mainly because of their desirable propagation properties. So now when they propagate through space, when they propagate because of their large wavelength, they have desirable properties such as the possibility of diffraction. or bending around any obstruction. Unlike other electromagnetic waves, they tend to be scattered rather than absorbed by other objects larger than their wavelength. So also this ionosphere can reflect these electromagnetic waves, radio waves. When radio waves strikes this ionosphere, and they will undergo what is called Rayleigh scattering, and then it will be reflected back. So like that, over a large area, this radio wave can spread even if there is any obstruction by a large object. There will be diffraction and all, and then another radio station can receive it. Okay. Now, the next spectrum is called microwave. It is also another electromagnetic waves. So it occupies a region between radio wave and infrared wave, and it has a wavelength between 1 millimeter to 1 meter, and they are used in communication communication technology also, and they are also used in a microwave ovens and all. So this is how a microwave is used in a oven. In a microwave oven, there's this thing called microwave generator, like a magnetron and all. So when that is turned on, it can generate a microwave inside this medium, inside electromagnetic wave inside this chamber. And this microwave, as it is having a relatively large wavelength in comparison to visible light and all, it can easily penetrate to object, and as it penetrates to object, because of this electric and magnetic field vibration. See, we talk about these electromagnetic waves as consisting of electric and magnetic field, associated electric and magnetic field vibration. So these electric and magnetic fields, they will result in oscillation of these water molecules, something like this. So inside your food items and all, there will be some water vapors or some oils and all. So if those water molecules and the oil, fatty oils and all inside your food items have this kind of polar molecules, so under the action of this electric field, these polar molecules will oscillate, they will vibrate, and this vibration will gives out heat. Okay, this vibration will gives out heat, and that will cook your wave. So this is how it will work. And also this long exposure to this microwave is also like harmful for our tissue also, as it can penetrate through our tissue. So therefore this microwaves is already always to be kept close, and also there is a metal coating. This electromagnetic waves, like electric and magnetic fields, they cannot penetrate through a metal coating. Okay, and this microwave also finds application in communications. Like this is just a comparison between microwaves and radio waves, and these radio waves, they can penetrate through obstacles, something like this, because of their large wavelength. When their wavelength is larger than the object, the obstacle here, so they can undergo diffraction, and they can you can transmit information from one location to another location, even if there is an obstruction. But microwave communication devices, we need a line of sight. You need a receiver and the transmitter to be in a line of sight. So, but the advantage of this microwave is that it can penetrate through ionosphere. So while radio waves and all are reflected by ionosphere, these microwaves can penetrate through ionosphere. So for satellite communication and all, this microwaves is preferred over these radio waves. Now, I think I've spent already 20 minutes, more than 20 minutes. So this next is the infrared spectrum. This infrared spectrum has a wavelength between this 0.001 meter to 700 nanometer. And this finds application in night vision goggles, remote controls, and all. And also, it is also used for fiber communication. Nowadays, our internet connection are mostly to fiber because the reason here is that when we have a higher frequency signal we can transfer more number of information per second. Okay, more number of information per second. So the theoretical limit for information transfer by a carrier wave is proportional to the frequency of the carrier wave. So if we remember the electromagnetic spectrum, infrared being a shorter wavelength in comparison to microwave and radio wave, it has a higher frequency, and such higher frequency can transfer digital information, more number of information per second. So in a way, this communication, if this infrared is used for a carrier wave for carrying information, it can deliver a much higher speed. But the thing is that this infrared and all, when you transmit infrared in a open air or without any fiber medium, it will be absorbed by the surrounding atmosphere, the water molecules and all the water vapors and all. Right. So for transmitting or for transmitting information using this infrared radiation, we need a certain medium, optical medium called a fiber optical cable. So therefore, this fiber optics communication is much faster. Now, infrared radiation is also popularly known as heat radiation because it accounts for 49% of heating of the earth. We know that in elementary schools and all, we have learned that sunlight reaches earth through a process called radiation. When light is emitted from all this kind of electromagnetic radiations are emitted from sun, it passes to like outer sphere, which is more or less a vacuum. So without any material medium, they can radiate from, they can transfer in a vacuum. So unlike heat transmitted by thermal conduction and thermal convection, they can propagate through a vacuum. Now, this is how infrared technology is used for night vision. So this night vision, like as we know, when there is absence of light at night, absence of light as we perceive it, it means there is an absence of visible light, right? Even if there is an absence of visible light, there will be some ambient this infrared radiation. Infrared radiation, infrared radiation, any object which is above 0 Kelvin, it gives out a certain amount of infrared radiation, however faint it may be. Okay, so even if we do not have any visible light in the absence of light at night, this infrared radiation can be used in this night vision device. So what it does is that it captures infrared radiation and it converts into electrons that are then amplified by chemical and electrical processes and then converted back into visible light, with which we can trigger uh, our optic nerves. And here also we have this concept also called thermal imaging and all. So in this thermal imaging, again, this technology is relying on this infrared radiation because like every surface will emits out a certain amount of this infrared radiation when it is above 0 Kelvin. So capturing the differences in surface temperature or detecting the differences in surface temperature, the infrared radiation that are emitted from objects can be used for thermal imaging. Now, this is the only type of electromagnetic wave which we can detect. So it ranges between violet and red light. So just a few more slides. And here, this ultraviolet radiation also finds application in at the time of this thing, COVID pandemic also, because this ultraviolet radiation, although it is in many sense harmful to our skins and all, because it can cause skin cancer and all, because of the high energy nature of this ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light, if we remember the spectrum, it is in the high frequency side of this electromagnetic spectrum, and the energy or the energy carried by this ultraviolet light is quite high because of the high frequency nature of this ultraviolet light. And such kind of high energy light can be absorbed, and also it can cause it can cause skin cancer and all, as we discussed. So it can also be used for the sterilization and all, because it can kill bacteria because of this high energy nature. Now, beyond that, also we have what is called X-rays and all. So this is a very high energy electromagnetic radiation, and it can penetrate deep into tissues and can cause damage to cells. So it can only be stopped by dense material like a bone and all. So it can be used for this imaging purposes. And gamma rays and all, gamma rays is at the extreme end of this electromagnetic radiation spectrum, and it is a very high energy radiation, and it can be used for treatment of cancers and other things. So I think with this I will stop. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir, for the very interesting topic and for making electromagnetism easy to understand, and for even for people without physics background. I'm positive the audience were in awe as well, now that we understood how electromagnetism works, and also how it can either be useful or harmful in our everyday life. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so for our last speaker, I would like to reintroduce Dr. H.T. Ramsanga. He is currently a professor and HOD at Department of Zoology, School of Life Sciences, Mizoram University. Dr. H.T. Ramsanga finished his PhD at NEHU, and his specialization includes ecology, breeding behavior, and development of amphibians, herpetology, entomology, and limnology of Mizoram, as well as taxonomy and biosystematics. He has been awarded. He has received many awards, which includes the Best Citizens of India Award 2019. He has also been awarded for his contribution towards discovery of 3 new species from Mizoram, and he's also received International Herpetological Symposium Grant Award 2021 under the category of Education for Educating Young Minds for Snakebite Management and Conservation of Snakes in Mizoram, India. So let's invite Dr. H.T. Remsanga to address on animal science. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Is it visible? Slide.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's visible.
Okay, today I'll be talking about on this snake bite management, which is very crucially important for our context here in Mizoram. So what kinds of snake we have here in Mizoram, and besides this, how it affects economy and throughout our country and globally also. And regarding this, what kinds of medicine we have and what to do when snake bites occur also. First, as we know that snakes, there belongs to reptiles, the class reptiles. Globally, there are 11,733 known reptilian species. So most of you must know about the characteristic features of reptiles. They are long-breathing vertebrates, originally with 2 pairs of limbs, but snakes, they are limbless because they are more advanced in evolution. But some, like a genus like a python and their family Pythonidae, some of them are still retaining this vestigial limb. They're usually with 5 clawed fingers, toes, and their body is covered with horny scales and plates and are devoid of hair and feathers. And they are cold-blooded animal. That's why they used to bask under the sun during morning and evening. And usually most of them are nocturnal, while others are diurnal and some are crepuscular. That means they are active in morning and evening. Basically, they can be classified into 3 orders: Squamata, that includes lizards and snakes; Testudines, tortoise and turtles; Crocodilia; and Rhynchocephalia, which is found only in New Zealand. There are 2 known species, Sphenodon punctata and Sphenodon gunteri. But this gunteri, the status is in question now because they might be extinct. No one knows. Then among 3,956 species of snakes living on Earth, around 338 species are known from India. Earlier, there were 340, but after we discovered, we recently described new species of viper. It was misidentified as Trimeroceras tesnegeri, and other species. So we eliminated 3 other species.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, your slides is not moving.
Slide is not moving.
Yes, sir.
What to do? How is now? Is
Yes,
it
sir.
moving now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So far, 110 species of snakes are recorded from the Northeast India. But after this, many new species are described and many new country records. Then, besides this, more than 20 snake species in Northeast India are deadly venomous. There are big four snakes of India where this our polyantivenom is generated. Number one is Echis carinatus. It is found across Indian subcontinent except in West Bengal and Northeast India, and its venom is hematoxic. So you should remember that this big four snake includes two vipers and two elapids, cobra and crates. From their venom, they mix it and they cocktail it. Then after that, they generated antivenom. But most of them are not available in Northeast India. These snakes, big four snake species. Okay, so vipers, they venom are hematoxic, and elapids, they are neurotoxic. So this is one viper, and another viper is, Brazil viper. It is found all across Indian subcontinent. Its venom is also hematoxic, but in most part of Northeast India, it is not found. It is found only in this region of this Manipur around Loktak Lake recently. Then another is from elapids, Bangara ceruleus. It is a crate. It is found all across India up to western part of Assam. The venom of this snake is neurotoxic. And next is Naja Naja, spectacled cobra. This is found across India subcontinent except in West Bengal and Northeast India. Its venom is, this one is neurotoxic. So from these four snakes, antivenom is prepared. Then let's see, snake bites around the world. It is about 5.4 million people are estimated to be bitten by snakes every year. 1 lakh people die each year as a result of snake bites. 4 lakh people are left disabled or disfigured by their injuries. This is from WHO. Most deaths and serious consequences of snake bites are entirely preventable by making safe and effective antivenoms more widely available and accessible. So there are between 81,410 and 1.37 lakh deaths and around 3 times as many amputations and other permanent disabilities each year. This is last year data, okay? It is estimated that India had 1.2 million snake bite deaths, representing an average of 58,000 per year.
Sir, sorry, sir, excuse me, but your slide is still not moving. Sir, your slide is not changing still.
Okay, that's why I asked you at the beginning. You told me that they are moving.
Sorry, sir. So if
I am trying. Is it moving?
no, sir.
What is going on?
Sir. Sir, full screen na handa hindi. Sir, I take John full screen na min đâu đã sắp.
Is it moving? Is it moving?
Yeah, sir, about the
Hello, sir.
Moving.
yes, sir.
Masih adil lah. Okay, I'll repeat from the important part. Big four snakes of India. These are the big four snakes of India. Kiskarinata, Sausage Viper. As I told you before, there are big four in these big four snakes of India. There are 2 vipers and 2 elapids. Vipers venom, they are hemotoxic, and elapids venom, they are neurotoxic. This is one viper, and another is Razel viper, this one. And elapid, spectacled cobra, which venom is neurotoxic, and common crane, which is also neurotoxic. So these 4 snakes, they are mainly not found in Northeast. This one is found in the western part of Assam, and Razel viper, this one is also found in some place of Manipur around Loktak Lake. So snake bites around the world, 5.4 million people are estimated to be bitten by snakes every year. Then 1 lakh people die each year as a result of snake bites. 4 lakh people are left disabled or disfigured by their injuries. The source is WHO. Most deaths and serious consequences of snake bites are entirely preventable by making safe and effective antivenoms more widely available and accessible. This is our problem in Mizoram. There are between 81,000 and 1.37, more than 1.37 lakh deaths and around 3 times as many amputations and other permanent disabilities each year. WHO 2021. It is estimated that India had 1.2 million snake bite deaths, representing an average of 58,000 per year from 2000 to 2019, with nearly half of the victims aged 30 to 69, and over a quarter being children under 15. This is the source in 2020 by WHO. If you look at here, this in India, most cases are reported from India, followed by Africa and other tropical countries. So what do we visualize when we say snake bite in India? It's something like this. Yeah, this lady, this girl, because for them, after snake bite, anti-serum venom is unknown substance, no relevant education in the front line. This child died 28 hours after being bitten by a naja, no hospitalization. Then, after this happened also among local people, the snake bite dead corpse is then placed on a raft and set sailing in a river or sea. The belief is that they might come back. This is 21st century India, computer age. Mind it. Then let's see what happened. Eaten by crow, like that. So if you look at this, the hidden deaths, most deaths are occurring outside of the hospital setting and in rural areas where they are often not registered. The MDS is starting to expose the hidden trends. If you look at here, cancer, 78%, malaria, 90%, suicide, 87%, road traffic injury, 76%, HIV, 83%, snake bite, it is highest, 97%. So that's why it is regarded as neglected tropical disease. It is a major public health problem. And yet, this thing by politicians, how they mention. The key reason why snakebite is not a priority is that most victims lack political voice because they tend to be poor children and from rural areas. Then, where do we find venom in a snake? It is generated, synthesized in the venom gland that is injected through fang that acts like a syringe. From this fang, snake fangs, these are Greek philosophy scientists, they discovered these syringes were so called. Then this is how venom is delivered from this with the help of compressor muscle. Then it will compress the venom, then that will pass through the venom duct, then to the venom canal that is in the fang, like this. So these venoms are secretion of venomous snakes, which are synthesized and stored in venomous gland. The glands which secrete the zootoxin is a modification of the parotid salivary gland and are situated on each side of the head, below and behind the eye, encapsulated in muscular sheath. The glands have large alveoli in which venom is stored before being conveyed by the duct to the tubular fangs through which it is injected. Then most of the venom, it includes enzymatic and toxic proteins like PLS2, phospholipase 2, myotoxins, hemorrhagic metalloproteinase, and other proteolytic enzymes, coagulant components, cardiotoxins, cytotoxins, and neurotoxins. So these are some of the more than 20 protein toxins are already isolated from the venom. Toxins, carbohydrates, lipids, amines, and other molecules. Proteins, dominance, 90% of the dry weight. The major part of protein constituted by enzymes, 25 to 70% in lipids, 80 to 90% in vaporids. Composition varies in different species and also considerably between snakes in different geographical locations. So composition of these toxins are different from one species to another. Even same species from geographical location, the composition is also different. No wonder that the manifestations of the snake bite are so widely different. On coming to rear fang, like this redneck keelback, here there is a groove. It is not like that canal, syringe type. There is a groove, then the venom will pour down or drain down from here, from the gum teeth to the injured part. So it is very complicated, this symptoms, like it will affect central nervous system, vision, respiratory, then wound site, skin site, then gastric also, nausea, vomiting, intestinal, muscular, heart, and vessels, like that. So what do these venoms do? This is a condition. Last year, I documented this one from eastern part of Mizoram. While he was crossing a river, there was he felt some bitten, something like that. So when with the help of his hand, when he touched it, he found that there was some serpents, but he could not find it. But from the symptom, it looks like it was a bite. cobra because cytotoxic effect was there. And slowly, even after coming to isol and doing treatment regularly, it happens like this. And even this dog, it happens last year. And this neurotoxin, it causes pain and slow swelling, sometimes rapid, sometimes ignored, bleeding from any side, clotting disorder, late hematuria, oliguria, acute renal failure, bleeding and ecchymosis in viper bite, and gum bleeding also in case of this viper bite. Then the best is this 20 minutes test with which is very easy. And another is vomiting and faint. Fainting attack, pain abdomen, hematoma at injection site, then the regional lymph nodes. And under surgical conditions, due to this snake bite, immediate tissue necrosis in cobra bite, compartment syndrome, gangrene due to tight ligature. So ligate, tourniquet is not suggested now. This is because of tourniquet. Then the venom will concentrate here. It will degrade the tissues and this skin, even the skeletal digital fingers like that. Cobra neurotoxicity. So in the bites of cobra, there will be pain and swelling. It will develop paralysis, bilateral ptosis, ophthalmoplegia, blurry vision, okay? Then slurring of speech also, dribbling of saliva, difficulty in swallowing, respiratory distress and failure. Great neurotoxicity. It is very painless, no local sign, pain abdomen, pain in throat, pain in joints. Last year also in Kolkata, one of my friends, he reported a couple died at night. So they were from the, they searched the whole house. So at last they found black crate in the, a common crate in the bathroom. So when they checked their body, there was some bite marks. So because the bite of this crate is painless. So that's why they usually ignore it. But slowly, the venom is very strong. And recently also here in this Borai, in Aizawl, Western part, one lady, while he was sleeping with her husband, she got bitten by this crate. But she could not see it. It was not so painful. She thought that it was bitten by insect. Then from the morning, the symptoms start to appear. She started vomiting. And in the evening, she died before reaching Mahotsav Hospital. So very slow developing bilateral ptosis, difficulty in swallowing, slurred speech, tightness in chest, paradoxical respiration, respiratory failure. Because as you know that our lungs, it has no muscle. The contraction and relaxation of our lungs is depending on the diaphragm, the muscles that cover here in our chest. This neurotoxin, as they are working in the disturbing the neurotransmitter activity, because they bind on the receptor on the postsynaptic membrane. So the neurotransmitter could not work properly. Muscles, they are under the control of or regulation of nervous system, neurons. So once this neurotransmitter could not work, perform their work, so they cannot regulate muscle movement. And then for lungs also, it cannot move. So that's why there is difficulty in respiration and failure of respiration. Most of the snake bite mortality is due to failure in respiration. So this is principles of management of snake bite. to retard absorption of venom into circulation, to neutralize absorbed and circulating venom, to treat manifestation of organ dysfunction caused by venom fixed to the target receptors, to arrange transfer to upper level care setup when necessary, recording and transmitting data of outcome. So with the help of this monitoring data, further treatment can be managed. Levels of snake bite care. First, field management. Suppose if someone is bitten by snake in the jungle or in the field, so there is a management, how to take care of those, how to looking after those patients. Earlier, tourniquet, cutting the injured part, sucking, they are suggesting, but this is not correct. After studying the how venom works, these are already changed. The best is to mobilize the bitten area and cover with the supporting like a raft or some twigs and cover with bandage to prevent the movement of that injured part. If possible, the patient should be carried to the PHC or hospital or subcenter. Level 1 care PHC, level 2 care SDH SDU, level 3 care Apex institution with ITU and multidisciplinary healthcare setup. One thing we should remember is that none of the venomous snake in our country could kill a person within instantly, okay? There is golden time, that is 100 minutes. Within 100 minutes, if the patient is able to reach hospital or transfer to hospital, so it is easier to do treatment, okay? So don't forget, people who die due to snake bite are the ones who produce crops for us. People who die due to snake bites are the ones who build our houses, roads, railways, canals. People who die due to snake bite are the ones who carry our loads, who make this nation self-sustained, our fellow countrymen and women. They are our children, like that they are the grassroots, which is important for development of our economic. And this this is reported last year from Mizoram. This is due to cytotoxic effect. You should not puncture this when it happens. And this is myself after I got bitten by this spot-tailed green pin viper. People, they come, local people, you use this tamarind dust seed, and some say you use this rhino horn. Then in front of them, I saw it, how these things are useless. This too has no ability to suck out the venom. You should remember, because blood circulation is not too slow. After snake bite happens, then the venom already enter most of our circulatory part, okay? And moreover, there are many local medicinal plants which are suggested for snake bite, like this Aristopia odoratissima, Amarindas indicas, and these other plants. So many are there. Like here in Mizo, we call vakep. But as you know, the snake venom include many protein toxins which are fatal to human. Then many institutes, research stations, universities, they already conducted and screened these plants, the so-called snake bite medicinal plants. What they can do is some active compound isolated from these plants. They can neutralize few enzymes of the snake venom to test, like one toxin, two toxin, like that. But you should think about the rest of other toxins. So that's why snake antivenom immunoglobulin are the only specific treatment for envenoming by snake bites, because they are prepared from the snake bite itself through immunization. Antivenom, the only available treatment against snake bite is the usage of the antivenom. The first antivenom was developed by Albert Calmet against the Indian cobra during 19th century. It is made by immunizing mammals such as horse, goat, rabbit, in particular snake venom, and the specific immunoglobulins are isolated from the blood. So once this animal undergo an immune response to the venom, there the antibodies was collected. There can be two types of antivenom: monovalent, which is prepared from only one venom, then polyvalent, prepared from more than one venom. Okay, so our polyvalent available in our country is prepared from 4 snake species, big 4 snake species, cocktails of viper venom and elapid venom. So this is how the antivenom is prepared. First, they milk the venom, injected horse, then antibodies develop in the horse. Slowly, at the beginning, the dose was very less. Then slowly they are increasing the dose. Then after this, after the horse develop enough antibodies that will neutralize even high dose of venom, then they separated the plasma, then that contains antibodies. So with the help of that, they generated antivenom. So what does this antivenom do? Then this is the neuron. This is the postsynaptic neuron. It may be neuromuscular junction or neuron to neuron. So this is how this neurotransmitter works. But this snake venom, they can mimic the neurotransmitter. This receptor in the postsynaptic neuron, it is very specific. But this snake venom, they can bind on this. Once if they bind, then there is no chance of binding of this neurotransmitter. So what this antivenom is doing is it binds on the chlorotoxin. This is the snake venom, one protein toxin. Then this will enable this toxin to bind on the receptor on the postsynaptic membrane. So in this way, antivenom neutralize venom, okay, in our body. These are some cases there in the civil hospital. Those who are getting this treatment, they are survive. But one, unfortunately, died because this guy, he is a friend of my colleague. So the story is like that. While he was doing fishing in the stream, then he got bitten by a viper, green-pit viper on his toe. Then after coming back to the town, then he informed his friend that he got bitten by viper. Then they told that to drink alcohol. Then he drank alcohol. Then in the morning, he could not wake up. Because the thing is that consumption of alcohol is very dangerous after snake bite because it increased blood pressure. The venom from the toe, it entered to the heart. From the heart, it entered to the vein in the brain. So it punctured it. It destroyed that vein. Then there is a bleeding in the brain. So unfortunately, he died. These are also some victims in Aizawl. This young man, unfortunately, he died on the following day after snake bite takes place. Then his mother was a sister. She keep on calling me. When he got bitten, they could not get more than 3 vials of antivenom throughout Aizawl city. Imagine, this is very shameful. And another person in 2019, 73-year-old, he also got bitten by black rat. This young man was also bitten by black rat. Then he claimed that he was immune to snake bite, so he refused to take medicine. He got bitten during around 6:30. Then after that, he started vomiting and he could not see properly. Then when he was hospitalized around 8 o'clock, then he started developing difficulties in breathing, then paralyzed. Then at 9:45, he died. Then the problem is here in Mizoram, medical people, they were trying to treat all the snake bite with antivenom. This is not good. This one we published in Toxicon this year recently, because as I told you before, this antivenom, it is prepared from 4 snakes of India, big 4 snakes, which are mostly not available in the Northeast. So like this, our green pit viper, rule 2Ha, the venom cannot be utilized by the polyvalent because those vipers are genetically distant away from our rule 2Ha, green pit viper. They are Russell viper and saw scale viper, where this antivenom is prepared. So it cannot neutralize venom of green pit viper. But our green pit viper, rule 2Ha, venom can be neutralized by those antivenom generated from Trimeresurus albolabris, another green pit viper species found in Southeast Asia. So that's why treatment of this green pit viper bite by this antivenom polyvalent is useless. Last year, one person, he called me, he was about 35 years old, which is very close to our locality. Then he got bitten by this green pit viper. Then I told them not to take antivenom, but still I told them you take this Avil injection, bednosol, steroids, antibiotics, that's enough like that. But still they went to hospital and they took this antivenom treatment. Then suddenly there was development of allergy throughout his body. Then he felt respiratory problem. Then he was shifted to the ICU. He was hospitalized for almost a month. Those snakes are very fearful, but they are very important for our economy. That's why snake laws in India is proposed. All snakes are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. No man can collect, keep, transported, or exported without the official permit or relevant document from the head of the Forest Department. The rationale of giving such a high order of protection is to ensure law enforcers control snakes in trades, punishable by 1 to 6 years in prison and a fine, 25,000. Schedule list 2 and 4 of some snakes of India: pythons, cobras, vipers, and keelbacks. There is a myth: snake attack human beings. And the fact is, snakes attack only when humans accidentally step on them or when they get the feeling that they are attacked by human beings. Snakes drink milk. Snakes hate milk, and it is scientifically proved that when snakes are forced to drink milk, they get sick because they have no digestive enzyme to digest milk protein, like a saying. Snakes listen and move their hood as per the music by a charmer. This is also not correct. Snakes cannot hear music because they are dumb, deaf. It just follows the movement of the snake charmer, which forces the snakes to move their hood in a particular movement. Snakes, when hurt, would definitely come back to take revenge. It is scientifically proved that the brain of snake is not much developed, therefore it has absolutely no memory to take revenge. If a snake-bitten person in turn bites the snake, the poison would go away from the body of the victim. If the victim takes the risk of biting the snake would only attack the victim again, and this would only result in the snake injecting all its poison into the body of the victim, which would in turn result in quick death. Snakes have supernatural power, and a golden colored snake has diamond in its mouth. Snakes are ordinary creatures just like other animals or other reptiles and have no supernatural powers. Snakes do not have diamonds in their mouth. It is just a fantasy and a story for movies. So let's see what kinds of venomous snake we have in Mizoram. This is from Colabridae family, Rhabdophis himalayanus. Then Rhabdophis helleri, juvenile, adult. Then they have rear fangs, and their toxins, their venom are hemotoxin. And moreover, they are also poisonous because they can secrete milky white from their nuchal gland. That if it enters the eyes, it can cause blindness, and if it is consumed, it can cause stomachache, maybe fatal also. This was already identified from this only this tiger keelback, but now recently we found that this our redneck keelback also is having this kind of neutral gland that secrete bufotoxin. This bufotoxin is derived from toads, which they consume. That bufotoxin found in the toads, they are sequestered in this neutral gland. And another is recently described one, Rhabdophis bindi. There is a kind of bindi sign here. And from Elapidae, we have coral snake, which are very tiny but neurotoxin, and the venom is very strong, much stronger than king cobra's venom. This is the publication which we made to study about those coral snakes found throughout Asia. These are coral snakes. And another is monocled cobra, which are not found in mainland of India. Then banded crate, black crate, Bangaras Niger. Most of mortality in Mizoram is due to this snake bite because they are nocturnal and they used to come near our residence. If someone step on it, they will immediately bite on them. They are snake eater, and this is the distribution range which we published in the Salamandra German Herpetological Journal last year. This red indicate the distribution of Bangaras Niger. Then king cobra. After doing many taxonomical work on this DNA barcoding and morphology, we confirmed that it is the real king cobra. Now we are going to describe some more king cobra, 3 more new king cobras from India and Southeast Asia. This is the juvenile. The venom is also the hatchling, the juvenile venom, they are much stronger than adult one. This one we published this year recently, and this is the place where we already allocated this venom, this snake. Then on coming to viper, mountain pit viper, this one, and Trimeroceras erythrurus, Pope's pit viper, their venom are hemotoxin. And this is the recently described one, Trimeroceras mayai. So these are daily venomous snakes of Mizoram. And how to avoid this snake bite? You prepare like this. So while going out, you have to carry torch. Don't sleep on the floor without any proper these mosquito nets. Then you have to clear all these kind of roots, jungle roots nearby your house, like that. And this is how to take care of snake bite. You should not wash, sharp, torn it, or cut because it will increase venom activity. The best is to carry the patient with vehicle or by whatever available, because the patient should not be allowed to move. Because if washing and moving of this injury part is allowing, because it will cause the spreading of venom in the circulation. So in the field or jungle, once a person is bitten by snake, the best is to wrap with this cotton available, whatever available cloth, then with supporter. This will immobilize the injured part from the movement. Thank you. So you have any questions or any doubt, you can ask.
Thank you so much, Sir HDL, for sharing his knowledge and experience in snake bites. Since Mizoram is a hotspot for biodiversity, we have different types of snakes, and even one of the most venomous snakes can be found in Mizoram. So we are very lucky to have experts like Sir HDL to inform us about such important topics like snake bites. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Josephine.
One announcement, e-certificates are provided in the chat box. Participants who are interested can visit the link and fill up the form. Thank you.